it's not Noel leading that charge. We've got the Palm Beach North community is special. It's got the best of everything, right? We are busting at the seams. By 2030, there are going to be 250,000 people moving into Palm Beach County. Mm-hmm. A big chunk of them are going to be moving into the north end of Palm Beach County, right? So our organization is in the right area at the right time, right? It's got an exceptional group of leaders, community stakeholders from the private and public sector that are running in the right direction, right? We've got a clear plan, and we're trying to move this community forward and make our community the best that it could be. And the chamber's been along the ride. I mean, we've gotten a lot of recognition and we've had some success here over the last 6 years that we've been together. But I mean, our organization has grown 70% in 6 years.
Dr. George Lockhart, and welcome to Leadership Unlocked. Here is where we break up your fallow ground and find golden nuggets that you can use. You may know the names, but not the faces. Or you may know the faces, but not the names. It's my job to make sure that you are tuned in to who these individuals are that can help you in your community, at your church, in athletics, in sports, and finances. Today, I have a superstar with me. What he does is he's very linear, he's sleek, he's fresh with his ideas. There's two type of leaders. One is bright and one is smart. But every now and then you come across a person that's bright and smart. I'd like to welcome today my guest, Noel Martinez. Hello, sir.
Coach, it is so good to be here. What an honor. I mean, you guys have been doing a great job with this podcast. I'm so excited to be here. So thanks for the invite.
Well, you're most welcome. I'm so happy to get you on. A couple of things before we get started. Let's talk about you. Okay. Before we start talking about the chamber. So you grew up in Hialeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Hialeah, I remember Highlight, okay, and the Fronton, things of that nature, that led into baseball. And you and I have that in common.
Oh, yeah, right? Coach. Yeah.
You and I play, as a matter of fact, when I was coaching at John I. Leonard High School, we were kind of a bit of a power there. And we went down and played you all.
And we whooped you, right?
No, I don't think about that. No. But I remember you playing first base. I had everything memorized.
Yeah.
And had all the plays. I know when we first met, you were shocked that I knew all that information about you.
You did.
But I didn't know you as an individual, but I knew you as a position, left-handed, right-handed, what are things of that nature. So baseball, as you well know, and we've played several sports, but baseball is a little different. You're trying to hit a round ball with a round bat squarely. But it teaches you something else, right? So out of that, with the grit and things of that nature, what did you get out of it?
What did I get out of it? Oh my God, everything, man. I mean, any organized sport that you play kind of brings a group of people together, right? I would say baseball taught me how to lose.
Yeah.
Right?
Humility, sure.
You gotta learn, in baseball, you lose if you lose 7 out of the 10 times at the batter's box, you bat 300, you're winning.
That's right.
You're doing pretty darn good, and you're only hitting, 300 there. So it definitely taught you to be humble. Yeah. Baseball's taught you to be humble, right? I think for me, it was part of being a team is what I really got out of it, right? Learning how to bring people together, making everyone else around you better. Baseball teaches you that you have to work, man. If you don't work at it, you don't practice. If you don't work at your craft, you're not going to get any better. So baseball really taught me to really, if you want to be good at anything, you got to work hard at it.
All right. So that's the high school. You had a pretty good high school.
Yep.
But let's go backwards. 8, 9 years old. I mean, when did you start? Because Hialeah is pretty serious about their baseball.
Hialeah is all about baseball, man. And being, I'm Cuban. My parents were born in Cuba. I was born here. So I'm Cuban American. Baseball is life. Mm-hmm. Like that's all growing up. That's all you know. I mean, I remember hearing stories of my dad saying that he's a diehard Yankee fan. My dad was a diehard Yankee fan because in Cuba, That's the only baseball team that you could hear on the radio.
Really?
When he was younger, there was no TV there.
There's no Marlins then.
And you think back then, I mean, my dad was back in, when he was a kid, probably in the 40s, I would say he was in Cuba, right? So, I grew up watching Yankee games back in the day when the New York Yankees used to have their spring training facility in Fort Lauderdale. Mm-hmm. We used to go down there. One of my all-time favorite stories was I was standing outside of the parking lot with a baseball in my hand, waiting for the baseball players that come out of the parking lot. And at the time, Don Mattingly was like the man.
Yeah, sure.
Played first base. I played first base. My batting stance, I used to kind of imitate his batting stance. I mean, he was everything to me because I was such a diehard Yankee fan. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden here pulls up this car, the window rolls down, and it's Don Mattingly. He gets out of the car, signs the ball, shakes my hand. I mean, ever since then, I've been a diehard Don Mattingly fan, and I still am a Yankee fan, even though I like my Marlins because I'm a Miami guy too.
So we know that discipline will beat talent every time.
100%.
Until you face talented discipline.
Yep.
Right? So in middle school, you grow up there in elementary school there. Mm-hmm. You grew up speaking English.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay. All right. But you can also speak Spanish.
I can.
Yeah,
yes.
Sure. Mm-hmm. What was the dominant language in your house when you were growing up?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
So my grandmother was a big part of taking care of us, bringing up, like she would take care of us after school and pick us up after school. So in our house, both my parents spoke English. So in my house, we spoke English.
Okay.
But when Abuela picked you up, it was Spanish, right? So we were speaking when we were with Abuela and Abuelo, and the rest of my cousins were all speaking Spanish. But at the house, we spoke English. So I would say that I learned both at the same time. Some people say, I learned Spanish first, then learned English, or I learned English, then learned Spanish.
Right.
Our family was speaking both languages. So I learned both at the same time.
What about cultures?
Of course, 100%. What about it?
So the Spanish culture, right? And am I saying that right? Or do I say Latino?
Hispanic, Latino, whatever.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
The culture versus the American culture, because like I said, at Thanksgiving, you got turkey, whatever. But, the meals, I remember because I played baseball forever. We played Cuba and they just make these meals for us. A little spicy.
You think so? A little spicy? I would say very flavorful. But yeah, man, life, family is... Food is, brings people together, brings families together. And that's a big part of the Cuban culture, right? Mm-hmm. Nochebuena, Christmas Eve, we call it Nochebuena, right? Is one of my favorite nights of the year. That's where all my cousins and all our kids and everybody gets together and we roast this big old pork, lechon, in a big box, right? And we make it with rice and beans and everybody's dancing and we're having a few cocktails and having a good time. Food brings us all together.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, being up here in Palm Beach County, I do miss the Cuban food, right? We do have a few good Cuban restaurants locally, but down south, man, you have them on every corner. You got every little cafeteria. You can walk up there and get some pastelitos. But yeah, man, it's the Cuban culture has got some amazing food. And believe it or not, I love to cook Cuban food. I'm a pretty darn good cook too. So I got to have you over one day for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's easy on the spice. So horchata.
Horchata, yes. Not Cuban, but I know what it is.
Oh, well.
It's close.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
It's the rice and milk. Horchata.
Horchata.
Yeah, is that rice and milk? Yeah.
Rice, we call it arroz con leche.
Okay.
Arroz con leche, which is a dessert.
All right.
It's got like a little cinnamon on top.
Yeah.
Arroz con leche is a great dessert.
Okay. Well, I think that's important. So when we talk about, again, how baseball goes into, because out of the Cuban culture, I know when I played American Legion and playing high school ball in the summer league, I mean, the game was different when we played Cubans. Okay. We would play them. They would come over. They gave us hats, things like that. And I was just soaking it all in. And it was very difficult. Now, you played primarily on your high school team. It was a mix of a lot of Latin players.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it was no issue. See, with me, when I played, I was the only black on the team, my junior and senior year. And so we had 4,000 kids at the high school. We had double sessions and things like that. And we would play, but we only had 13, 15 players out of 4,000 kids. But all of us could play.
Yeah.
And the only reason I went out for baseball, I said, well, maybe I go out for baseball. I said, no, you can't play baseball. Why not? Oh, no, blacks are not allowed to go out. Oh, I got to go out now.
What?
So it was different, back then because it's 78. I'm coming out with the third class from integration.
Okay.
So 78 to 82 was a little different. So I went out there and played and learning the game and then trying to deal with things on and off the field, racism, whatever, prejudging, prejudice, whatever it was. I was fine with it because I knew I could compete, as far as that's concerned. When you're playing with that stigma was removed. It was about, you got to be able to play.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, for us, it was the opposite, right? So I would say, growing up in Hialeah in the Miami area, it's like 90% Hispanic here, right? So we had that one American kid, the one white guy on the baseball team, right? That when he was actually a great baseball player, he ended up playing some college ball too. Yeah. And then we had maybe one or two black guys on the team. Yeah. And we were, and we were a pretty darn good team. We would win districts every year.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
We were very, very competitive. The high school that I went to had a long history of they've won a few state titles. We never won one. We never got there, but unfortunately, we were in the running for the district championship every year. And, it's a different type of baseball down there.
Sure.
And then when I went to Broward Community College, now all of a sudden there aren't many Hispanics up here in Broward at the time up in Davie, right? And I remember going to the baseball practice, our first practice, we got scholarships to go, and me and my buddy Louie show up, and there's we're the only Hispanic guys on the team, which was really different, right? And unless you're a part, I don't know how to explain it, but there's a little bit of I call it sazon, a little bit of flavor to the way that the Hispanic community plays baseball versus the traditional baseball game, right?
Right.
Nothing that there's anything wrong with it, because trust me, baseball's baseball, but the Hispanic community is a little more flashy, right? A little more, they're a little louder. Mm-hmm. They're cheering, they're talking, they're chattering the whole game. And when we came up here, it was different. When we went up to Broward, so it wasn't like that.
That's what I want to ask you about, the next step.
Yeah.
Right. So you and I were able to play collegiately.
Yeah.
But when you got to Broward, and that's why I wanted to set that setting of the Cuban culture or the culture, Latin culture. When you got to Broward, totally different.
Totally different.
All right. So was there stigma put on you then there when you got to Broward?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. And, we had to earn it, we had to earn it. And we went in there knowing that, right? Mm-hmm. We didn't go in thinking that, we were owed respect just because we're a couple guys that got some scholarship, right? A scholarship from these Miami guys got some scholarship up here in Davie.
Right.
I think it took a little bit to gel, but when you're in that kind of team environment, it's you guys, it's your group, your team against everybody else. So it doesn't take long to change that.
Right. A lot of people don't know that junior college baseball in Florida, it's pretty serious. There are 25 teams, 25 junior colleges. State colleges call them now. But man, when I was coming through, they were serious. Everyone had one or two guys that can throw 90.
Yeah.
The middle infield, the spine was serious. Yeah. The catchers were serious. Center fielder could run like a deer. I mean, all of the teams, And so when I left Florida, I went and played up in Alabama at Tuskegee. I was headed to Brown University. But that atmosphere was totally different, So I came back down to what they call the Black Harvard of the South Tuskegee to play baseball. And I had a great time. We had won 4 conference championships there. But the junior college baseball, and I knew you played there at Broward, which is a pretty good school, as far as baseball is concerned, especially when you were coming through there.
Yeah, back then, there aren't any junior colleges anymore. Now they're all state colleges, obviously, right? We've got Palm Beach State College, Broward State College, Miami-Dade State College. It's different. I mean, back then, Miami-Dade had 3 campuses with 3 different baseball teams.
Yeah.
Right? Broward Community College had their one baseball team. Indian River, Palm Beach State. Well, Palm Beach Community College back then, it was called. They were all good.
Sure.
Because these are all these kids that are ultra talented baseball players, but they just didn't have the grades to get into some of these 4-year schools.
Yeah.
Right? So the talent was solid. I mean, our junior college team, now, I didn't go on to play after junior college, right? I only played those 2 years, but they, I would say 7 out of the starting 9 players all played D1 ball.
Yeah.
or got
pro.
drafted,
Yeah.
or went pro.
That's right.
Or went pro. So,
right.
And we weren't even the best team in the conference.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were losing to Indian River at the time. Indian River Community College at the time was one of the best programs. And they had a baseball coach there that was there for, 20, 30 years. I forget his name, but the guy was around forever.
Yeah.
And they had a solid program for a really, really long time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, now, you take that. And let me ask this question. I got to stop here and ask this question. This is a fundamental, foundational question. Who does your hair?
Come on, man. Come on. I was teasing you because both you and I got haircuts today.
Yeah, but your hair is outstanding, man.
Here,
you got
man,
like 3 people doing your hair at the same time.
Oh, my
right?
God. Stop it.
How do you make that happen, man?
Please.
It's the food.
Must be the Cuban food.
But so now you're the North.
Palm Beach North.
Palm Beach North
Palm
Chamber.
Beach North. Yeah, Palm Beach North Chamber.
It's Chamber of the Year.
Yes. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. 2023 Chamber of the Year. Thank you, sir.
That doesn't happen by accident.
Oh, no.
You're at the helm.
Yes, sir.
That discipline we just talked about, failing 70% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
What type of mechanism do you have in place to make that happen?
You know what? I'll say this. You hear me say this all the time. It's not Noel leading that charge. We've got the Palm Beach North community is special. It's got the best of everything, right? We are busting at the seams. By 2030, there are going to be 250,000 people moving into Palm Beach County. Mm-hmm. A big chunk of them are going to be moving into the north end of Palm Beach County, right? So our organization is in the right area at the right time, right? It's got an exceptional group of leaders, community stakeholders from the private and public sector that are running in the right direction, right? We've got a clear plan, and we're trying to move this community forward and make our community the best that it could be. And the Chamber's been along the ride. I mean, we've gotten a lot of recognition and we've had some success here over the last 6 years that we've been together. But I mean, our organization has grown 70% in 6 years.
Wow.
That doesn't happen overnight, right? That's years and years and years of relationships, of hard work being put in, long-term planning, strategic thinking. I mean, our community is special, and the Chamber just gets to be a part of it.
Yeah, well, so I went to the art show.
Yes, sir.
And I had to go there because my daughter was there running.
Yeah, she was part of the team for a little bit.
4:00 in the morning, we're there. Well, I'm like, what kind of show is this going to be? I was the principal at Lake Worth High School, and they do a big art gras down there. Mm-hmm. Brent Bloodworth was my art guy. And it was fantastic. I go to this thing. I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was at South Florida Fair. I mean, it was wonderful. It must have been 10,000. How did you make that come off like that so smoothly, so sharply? And you're at the helm. So you get the blame, you get all the glory, but you get the blame, right? If it goes wrong. But how did you make that go off like that? You show up in your shorts and everything. And I was like, this guy's just so he matches his hair.
First of all, it's Noel doesn't run Mardi Gras, right? Yeah. Mardi Gras, we've got an amazing vice president of events that really is the lead on all of our community events. And we produce 4 major economic driving community events at the Chamber. But Mardi Gras Fine Arts Festival has been around for over 40 years. We're going into year 42 right now.
Okay.
Right? 42 years. That event is one of the top ranked art shows in the country.
No doubt. No doubt.
300 plus artists from all over the world. Close to 30,000 people in 2 days go to this event. So it's a big deal, right? That doesn't happen by itself. That doesn't happen with one person. And we've got hundreds of volunteers that help us put that together. We've got an amazing steering committee that helps plan the event and recruit sponsors and recruit artists. I mean, that is a true community event. The city of Palm Beach Gardens, who's an amazing partner, helps us put that event together. So the Chamber can't take full credit for that event, although we're very proud of that award-winning event that's doing some amazing things for our community and is creating over $2 million of economic dollars for our region. it's something we're very, very proud of.
Mhm.
And it's something that's continuing to grow every year.
Well, we talk about leadership. That's what I'm saying here. This is Leadership Unlocked. And I'm
Mhm.
unlocking your leadership. But when we talk about leadership and advocacy, right? So how does that play a role in what you're doing as a leader? Sometimes you got to have courageous conversations, with your team. Some you got to build up, tear down, start a motor, calm down their motor. So how do you go about doing that?
So advocacy to me is, in my world, right? In my world is using your voice or your platform to get the ball across the line.
Okay.
Right? To win the game. Right. I think the power of who we are as an organization, and I want to remind you, we have over 800 members that are part of our organization. Wow. We work with 11 municipalities, right? 4 out of the 7 county commissioners are in our region.
Okay.
Right. We have our legislative delegation, 3-4 legislators, state legislators in our region. Advocacy is at the core of what our organization does. I mean, we were founded in 1948 on the front porch of a Riviera Beach businessman.
Okay.
Right?
Didn't know that.
And that happened because that businessman had an issue with the city that was affecting his business.
Mm-hmm.
Some sort of development issue that was, I don't know the exact details on it, but he realized, hey, I'm stronger if I bring some other businesses together. So he invited a group of businesses to come over, business owners to come over on their front porch, and they created the Riviera Beach Chamber of Commerce. 1948, 70, and they went on and attacked and fought and advocated against this issue that they had. Here we are 77 years, I think I did that number right, 77 years later, and we're still doing the same thing. We're fighting for our businesses. We're trying to create an environment that is good for businesses to prosper, right? And we do that through our amazing volunteers, our amazing membership, and to the platform that the Palm Beach North Chamber has, through the platform that the Chamber has.
So you talk about businesses and partnerships.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's a waiting list. How do you identify who's going to be a part of the Chamber? I mean, because there's some unsavory companies that would love to be a part of that, right? So how do you identify?
Well, the Chamber's a membership organization made up of businesses. So really any business, as long as you're a real business,
Mm-hmm.
you could join the Chamber of Commerce. It's as easy as filling out an application, paying your dues, and getting active, right? I would say, so we don't really select who's allowed to be a part of the Chamber and who isn't. But I will say that being active is a big part of a Chamber membership. And I say this all the time, and I get to work with chambers all across the state, and we all say it. Being a part of your local chamber is the best way to get engaged in the community.
Okay.
Right? 100%. You're going to have access to some of the biggest community leaders through a chamber membership.
So it's a networking.
It's a networking event. I mean, there's a lot to it, right? There's a lot more than just the advocacy piece to it, even though advocacy is the most important thing that we do.
Sure.
But the chamber gives you opportunities to create relationships, to meet new people, to network. We also have all kinds of professional development seminars and resources for our small business owners, right? We've got marketing opportunities. We've got those events that I talked about a little bit where you could sponsor and get some exposure. So the Chamber's a lot more than just advocacy. And we're really, really proud of our membership and what they're doing.
All right. So you don't lean toward any particular one, obviously, to be unbiased. But if you had to pick one that made you pause and say, wow, this is what the Chamber's all about. Is there anyone that you would like to highlight?
Well, I mean, I would say, the Chamber's all about collaboration, right? So if there's something that really pops out of my head is some of the programs and collaborations we've had with other organizations, right? I'll give you an example. We have an education foundation called the Palm Beach North Education Foundation, which is focused on helping our schools in the north end of Palm Beach County. In partnership with the Stiles Nicholson Foundation, the last 3 years, we have given our teachers of the years out of every single one of our North County schools $1,000 check.
Public schools?
Public schools.
Okay.
Public schools.
Wow.
I'll never forget 3 years ago when we did it. The first time that we walked into this classroom with a big fake check that said $1,000 on there. The teacher immediately started crying.
Yes.
Immediately started crying. She goes, "You have no idea. This is like an answer to my prayers." She goes, I've been struggling to make ends meet. This $1,000 is going to go so far. You have no idea what this means to me. I cried.
Yes.
I mean, I cried right there. I get goosebumps talking about it.
Yeah.
That right there is the kind of impact that it's something that made me say, this is what it's all about. This is why I love what I do. And again, it wouldn't have happened without the partnership with the Stiles Nicholson Foundation, right? In collaboration with our foundation, which is really even separate from the chamber, right? But that's just a one example of how when the community comes together, we can really do good stuff.
So, wow, great answer to that question. I was wondering how you're going to answer that one. Teachers, as a former principal.
Oh, yeah.
Teachers really love when they are lauded or applauded, right? I remember one time I went to a teacher's classroom and I wrote a Post-it. I said, hey, doing a great job. You know, I'm doing my classroom walkthroughs. I do it all the time. I come out the next week, she took the Post-it and put it on the wall and drew a certificate around it. So I ran back to my secretary. I said, hey, order 6,000 gold embossed certificates. It's paper. And we're going to give them out not only to the teachers, we're going to give it to the faculty and the staff. I'll call the custodians up, the cafeteria man, everyone who's part of that school. Man, you should have saw them walking up there because that's something like that. So I can only imagine the groundbreaking work, that effect that it had on that teacher to give them something monetary like that. That's very important. You've been named one of the top 100 leaders in Palm Beach County, right?
Oh boy.
And that's no easy feat. A lot of things happening in there. I want to start out. I want to be just like you. What advice would you give me as a young person?
Oh man, I don't know who said it, right? I'm not sure who said this quote, but someone said there was this quote that says, if you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
That's always stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you ask me, what kind of advice can I give a young up and coming professional that really wants to make an impact in the community, is to surround yourself by people who are going to challenge you, who are going to make you better, who are going to lift you up.
Well, let me stop you there.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to have confidence. In order to take those hits like that, to tell you, hey, you're wrong.
Yep.
Hey, you're saying, bring it. I need it. You know? Yeah. But that's a serious confidence issue. Where does that confidence come from? Because everyone can't take that.
Well, I'll use me for example, right? Because I can't speak for everybody.
Yeah.
I've got this thing that I want to be the best at everything that I want to do.
Competitive.
Right? I'm competitive.
Yes.
Everybody knows that about me.
Yeah,
I don't like to lose.
Right.
I'm not a good loser.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I want to get a little bit better every single day. Me and my team talk about that every day.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. We had a great event. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We raised a ton of money. Wow, we really made an impact on that initiative. Wow, that seminar was really, really good. Okay, great. How are we going to make it better? All right, great job. High five, everybody. That was awesome. But right after the meeting, our team, we huddle up and say, okay, what are the things that we could have done better?
So to be you would say to me, listen, you got to be able to take a little bit.
Oh, 100%, man. Yeah. I just had, look, we've done some good stuff in this chamber industry, right? We've done some good things. I have mentors and coaches that I look to that beat me up.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Yeah.
The second you get complacent, it's over.
Yeah,
Game over.
Yeah, the quote is, when you're done learning, you're done.
You're done, man.
Franklin D. Roosevelt said, only the victors enter the arena. The gladiators, they're all getting maimed and cut and all that. But the people who came out, they thought they were supposed to win. So I could see that in. And when I asked you that particular question, I saw you stopped blinking. Your pupils got tight. I know that athletic stare. I've seen that many times in many sports. So I saw that eye of the tiger just come in. And then once you loosen up, you start blinking again. So I can see that in you. But how can you impart that on a person? They either have it or they don't. Let me ask you, are leaders born or are they made?
I think a little bit of both, in my opinion.
Okay.
In my opinion, it's a little bit of both, right? You've got to have it. You got to have something in you that wants you. You got to have something in you that want to succeed, right? That deep down inside says, I want to do good, right? Or I want to be the best. At the same time, you've got that in you, but you've got to continue to grow and learn every single day. And you got to get better. You got to sharpen your skills, sharpen that pencil and get better and better at every day. And that takes effort. That takes, you've got to be intentional in wanting to grow.
Dr. Harry Lewis said, who's a great theologian, noted you got to have ability, you got to have desire, and you got to be available. If you have ability and desire and not available, or if you have ability and you're available but no fire, or you have fire and you're available but you don't have ability, none of that counts. I think you have all of those things. You know, you share, obviously, to have those courageous conversations with your people that work for you. You know, obviously they love you. Your output, we call it metrics, right, are so high. I was in Jupiter last week and it's so crowded. It wasn't like that when I was growing up. I grew up here, you know. And so like you said, to the point, to get 30,000 people to the art show in 2 days, you know, I said 10,000, but it was a ton of people there. You know, I think you're doing a great job. What last words could you impart upon businesses who are thinking about getting into the Palm Beach Chamber North?
Palm Beach North Chamber of Commerce. That's
Palm Beach North Chamber of Commerce.
You know what? I would say this, get engaged, right?
Okay.
I said it earlier. We have a lot of great chambers of commerce in this community, in this state, in this region. I mean, we've got a great group of community leaders all trying to do good for our community. So my advice to that business that is on the fence on whether or not to join a chamber, it doesn't have to be the Palm Beach North Chamber. I'd love for them to join the Palm Beach North Chamber, but join your chamber and get engaged, right? Because there's no better way to get engaged in the community than to be a part of your local chamber.
Mm-hmm. I got to ask this question. It's an unfair question, but because of your skill set, you got to ask.
Far away.
What's next for Noel?
Oh gosh, man. You know what? I get asked that all the time. I'll say this. I love what I do. I love the community that I'm involved with, the community that I live, work, and play in. Palm Beach North region is special, man. It really, really is. It's really, I have a tough time seeing myself doing anything else. And we've got so much more work to do. We're in the process right now of putting together our 2030 plan, right? 2030 plan, 5-year strategic plan. We're finishing up our last one. I can't wait to see what this region, our municipalities, our area is going to look like in 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Yeah, so right. What's next for me right now is what's next for the chamber, right? Right? Because I'm not going anywhere. I love what I'm doing, and we've got a lot of work to do here in Palm Beach North.
The first Noel, celebrating life, work, and family. We're so proud to have you come on. Any last parting words?
Look, it is an absolute honor to be here, Coach. Like I've always admired you. You know, the Lockhart name is big deal here. Big deal here in Palm Beach County. 4th generation, I think. 4th generation. You're 4th generation, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's such an honor to be here. I love spending time with you. You always inspire me, get me all fired up. I want to go run through the wall right now. But thank you for the invite, and I really appreciate the time I get to spend with you.
Well, thank you for coming on. And again, anytime you have anything you want to vocalize, just let us know. Because I think the chamber and what you're doing there is great work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, George.